The problem is usually operator error. Good morning. Well, we're not in an irrigation field this morning. I did go up at 5:30, whatever it was this morning, and it had shut off in the middle of the night. So I started it back up and I'm finishing the run. It'll be done around 10:15. So my mistake there, I guess. Must have not set the timer right again, something, I'm not sure. But whatever, not that big a deal. Just the generator sits there and runs. Nothing else is running. It's just the generator when it shuts off like that, which I don't really like burning the fuel, not doing anything or losing the time, but it isn't hurting anything. So anyway, we're gonna work on this corn planter here this morning. I got that fluid film there. I'm gonna put it on. I don't have a good sprayer for it, although I found that there are some sprayers that are made specifically for that stuff. I might get one. But if I get a sponge and just kind of wipe it on, that will work better. So I'm gonna try that. All right, I did not find a sponge, but I got a little cloth. Yep, we're gonna try this. I think that'll work. It's gonna require 2 hands to turn those. Once I get this thing all soaked in it, it will go better. But yeah, coat all the blades. Well, I got them all coated. That took about a half hour. It's faster than spray paint cans like I have done in the past. And I think it'll work. Wiping it on with that rag actually worked pretty good. A sprayer would be a little bit better, faster, but whatever. I'm sure some of you are wondering why would we even mess with this and coating that stuff. And to be honest with you, I kind of wondering that myself just a little bit, but the answer is because that's what we've always done. In fact, we used to always buy the cheapest little cans of black spray paint that you could buy and paint all the blades on this, the anhydrous bar, the bean planter, all of it, so that they looked good and didn't rust over the winter. I'm trying this. It doesn't look quite as good because they're not black, but should keep them from rusting and they're nice and shiny, and we'll see how it works. So, you know, we've kind of built up a reputation here for taking care of our equipment. I think you guys that have been watching my channel for a while and saw what I did throughout the winter with my maintenance programs and stuff, you understand that. And, you know, we try and take care of stuff. I'm not the best. I'm not a professional. I don't know exactly what all needs to be done to everything all the time. But we try and keep things in relatively good shape, especially the primary pieces of equipment that we need to run, you know, and to work well. Obviously, we've got some issues with the steering on our 4020, but that's not exactly a critical piece of machinery. So corn planter is, the big tractors are, that kind of stuff. So we take care of them. That's why. There is a pretty good chance, I think, that these fertilizer blades at least are going to get replaced next winter, and I'm not sure about the seed openers yet, but the no-till holders look okay, so those probably won't be. And then we've got a lot of these closing wheels that the plastic is cracking out around the edges here, so those are going to have to get fixed. I also noticed, was it this row? Yeah. This gauge wheel, something is clearly bent there because that should not have that big gap in it that it does. So we've got a lot of things that do need some attention on this, but we put over 2,000 acres on this planter this year. So, I mean, we used it more than it's ever been used in one year before. And hey, things wear, things bend, that's what happens. That's why I spend so much time in the winter going through stuff to get it in as good a shape as possible for the next year. Also, I'm realizing that this stuff goes a lot farther than I thought it would. I was not anticipating that I would only use a quarter of a gallon for the anhydrous bar and the planter. So that corn planter goes right here in this corner of the shop. It's where we store it for the rest of the summer and the winter, which means we need to get all this stuff cleaned up. So I'm going to see if I can't find something to haul all these bags and cardboard back to the woods to burn it. We'll move the seed tender out of the way. Really, we should clean that up too and get that taken down to Berkey and put away. Yeah, it's on the list. Both of the things that I would normally use to haul stuff back to the woods are currently occupied. But fortunately, I still have that dump trailer that I used to haul stone to my house. sitting back there. So we'll just hook that up to my truck and use that. Imagine how big this pile of bags would have been if I wouldn't have had 15 boxes of corn. That'll burn quick. All right, we've got about 45 minutes before I need to move that traveler. So while I can keep working on this, I'm gonna load up our fuel trailer again and haul some fuel up to the generator, get that put in there, and then we'll be up there for when that's done. I'm thinking about getting some stickers and decals made up for my fuel trailer. What do you think? Lightning River? Rain Stream? Something along those lines. Lightning River. No, I don't like it. I don't know. Suggestions. We need a name. Anyway, we're fueling. Well, all that fit in pretty easy. In fact, I may even bring another load up later this evening because I should be fine till tomorrow, but I don't want to risk it. 78 feet yet. I must have calculated a little bit wrong this morning when I restarted it. We got about not quite 40 minutes yet before it's going to be done, so I'm going to go make sure our timer's got at least a half an hour on it, and then we're probably going to run that fuel trailer back to the farm and come back up here. I'm not going to sit here for half an hour just waiting, although, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to run that fuel trailer home. Ooh, I changed my mind. Let's go do a little crop scouting while we're up here waiting. Pick up your feet. No problem. So this field of beans over here is one of our earlier planted beans, and they're a very early maturing variety. We plan on putting wheat up here this fall, and they've looked really good. You can see that they're canopied out and closing the rows in. That's awesome. That means we're capturing almost all of the sunlight that we can capture, which is what we want. I don't see any flowers up here yet, but it won't be long before we start seeing flowers. And in fact, there's a bud right there. So they are getting close to flowering. Staging beans. Let me pull a plant. Okay, so here's the soybean plant and where we're at right now. I was trying to get the roots out, but the ground's hard and dry and they broke off on me when I pulled. But I did get a few. You see these right here? These little balls on there. And some right here. That's a big one. And we split them open and they're red inside. Well, not that one yet, but this other big one is. Those are root nodules that they fix nitrogen. It's a symbiotic relationship with a bacteria, Bradyrhizobium, I believe is the name for it. But they basically feed off the roots of the soybean, and what they do in return is take nitrogen that's in the air, which is like 78% nitrogen, and convert it into a usable form for the soybean plants. That's why we don't apply nitrogen to soybeans. They make their own. So anyway, it's good that we see those. If they're reddish inside, brownish red, that means they're active and working, and that's a good thing. Now, right down here is where those cotyledons used to be. They are long gone, but that's okay. And then you have these two unifoliate leaves, which are the kind of the first real leaves to come out on the soybean plant. They've got some brown spots on them, a little bit of disease coming in. I don't think that's anything to really worry about. Those leaves are pretty well done doing anything. But then you start getting these leaves where there are sets of 3 coming out. And let's see if I can get where I can count these. We've got, this is kind of weird that it's got 2 coming out of one node there. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one here on the top, I would probably count that one. This one here is kind of the next trifoliate coming out, and that one doesn't count yet. So I would call this a V, what did I say, 4 or 5 soybean. Basically, you count the number of trifoliates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I would call this a V5 soybean. And as soon as you start seeing them flowers open up, then we call it R1, and we go into reproductive stages. It'd be awfully close to that too. But basically, anywhere that these nodes are, where the leaves attach, is where you get buds and flowers. And the goal is to get as many of those as possible. Hopefully by the time this thing is full grown at the end of August, there'll be at least 20 nodes on this plant. And we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're working on 6 and 7 right now. So they got a long ways to go yet. We also like that they're keeping these nodes relatively close together, 1.5 inches here. Sometimes if they got really good growing conditions, those will get 3, 4, 5 inches apart, and then your beans get really tall and hard to combine. So yeah, overall they look pretty good. The dry weather doesn't affect the soybeans early like this, like right now, as much as it does corn. Soybeans can handle a little bit of dry weather. It helps them put those roots really down deep into the soil. They have a tap root that goes down more so than corn, has more of a fibrous root system. And so they can go and scavenge some moisture. When beans need water is in August, when they're filling out them pods and making beans. That's when it's critical timing to get some rain for soybeans. I wanted to come back to some of them very first runs that we made with the Traveler and look and see how this corn is reacting to the water and the sulfur that we put on. And it actually is quite good here. You can see, if you look just right, you can still see some streaking in this that was that sulfur deficiency, but it's not nearly as defined as it was. It's starting to get that green color back between the veins in there. So that's a good thing. That means that our sulfur is working and doing its job. Yeah. And you also will notice, or not notice, I guess, that the rolling of the leaves like we saw over on the other side of the field that we haven't watered yet. So this corn is looking good. It's not thirsty. It's got some of the nutrients that it needs, and it's growing fast. It will be getting dry here, especially on these little sandy ridges and stuff, by the time we get back to it, though, if it doesn't rain, which I hope it rains tonight, tomorrow maybe. Back to our irrigation. I'm just waiting for the timer to shut it off. I got it, the cart all the way in, lifted up. There it is. No. Yeah. Okay, so now we're just gonna spin it and go that way. Cool. So this run here is a shorter one. We'll see what the final footage is when I get done here, but I'm not gonna pull this out super far because I do not want to destroy that barn by blasting it with water. So we're gonna stay back far enough that the water doesn't hit it, or doesn't hit it very much at least. Cool story about that little barn there. I assume it's true. I don't know. My dad has told me this, but he said that actually used to be an old dance hall. And apparently my grandpa, who lived 35 miles from here, used to come up here and go dancing and stuff back, I assume in the late 40s, maybe 50s. I don't know. But it kind of makes sense. I've never been in it to see, but this appears to be like a kitchen on the back there, that little lean-to or something like that. And yeah, I don't know, but that's a pretty cool story. And that was long before we lived around here. It's kind of got an old front entryway, like hand railings and stuff there, like it was, you know, public place for people to get in. I don't know, it's possible. Okay, back up and running. Assuming everything goes okay, this run will be done at about 5:45, which is pretty good timing actually. Now we're gonna pull the fuel trailer home. See if we can get a ride to get to the combine. All right, well, there's nobody here to give me a ride up to the John Deere dealer to get our combine at the moment, so maybe this afternoon, but we're gonna work on getting this planter unhooked in the meantime. So we gotta move this tender out of the way, and in order to get the tender out of the way, I gotta move the tractor out of the way. So we're gonna pull this planter out, pull the seed tender out of here, and then we'll sweep the floor up and then back the planter in and get it unhooked. All these semi-tires laying around here, you'd think we were a trucking business or something. Okay, we've got a clean, empty spot to put our corn planter. Let's back her in here. What do you think? Close enough? Ooh, I can still squeeze through there. That'll work. Alright, well, doesn't look like I'm going to get a ride up to the John Deere dealer today, so we'll have to do that Monday. But it is what it is. So, it's lunchtime. I am actually, this afternoon, since I am suddenly caught up and have a few minutes, I'm going to run to pick up those landscaping patio paver blocks that I ordered like 2 weeks ago, and they finally come in because I want to work on that this weekend. So I need my trailer, so I'm going to hook up to that and go get them, and then we'll come back here and do a little bit of stuff before the travelers got to get moved again, hopefully. I'm back with my block, most of my block. They were 70 short of these little ones, but at least I can get started anyway. It's threatening to rain. That would be a good thing, but we aren't shutting our water off until it actually rains. So I'm going to take this tractor and bean planter, back it in the barn, back into the shop there, just to get it inside. I don't know why Phil leaves it out all the time like this, but I got room in the shop, so we're going to put it in. Can't see anything behind this planter. While I'm moving this tractor or working with it, I'm going to get a jump drive and transfer the data off of that display. I don't have the wireless data transfer in the 8430, so I did it after Phil got done planting the first time, but not the replant stuff, so I need to get those records. So, which one of these current radars do we believe? That one? Or that one? This one would have you believe that it's raining. It's not. This one would have you believe that it's really, really lightly raining. Blue generally means no, it's not. So, yeah, appears that we missed that one. There is still some stuff out here in Wisconsin that, you know, maybe. But for right now, we keep pumping. For as much as that DTN thing costs us, you would think it would be an accurate radar, right? It's definitely not raining. We're going to take another load of fuel up. Sometimes words are hard, guys. Does this mean the DTN was right? I guess it counts, doesn't it? Pumping and fueling. And fertilizing. Well, our fuel did all fit, but just barely. And we've got about 10 or 15 minutes left until the traveler's done, so we'll go get ready to move it. So we've got to pull through this mud hole here. I hope my 4020 doesn't get stuck. But at least I won't have to drive through the dang thing anymore. I've had to drive through it with every pull so far. That's where that pipe was leaking when we were started and the one I fixed. Yeah. While I'm waiting for this to finish, I can show you how this gun works. Basically, it pivots right here. And that piece flapping there, if I stop it, you can see on the end there's kind of a ramp, I guess. It angles both ways. So it flops up, and when it hits the water stream, the water pushes it on one side or the other, and that makes the gun move just a little bit. And then when it gets over here to the side, this lever hits our stop, and at some point, right there, it moves that just a little bit, changes the angle so that now it's hitting the other side, which pushes the water, or is pushing on the other side of the ramp, so it pushes it back the other way. And it goes until it hits the stop on the other side. Pretty cool. It's just like lawn sprinklers that work the same way, it's just much, much bigger. You see those squiggles? That's the force that the gun has on the whole cart. It actually moves it just a little bit, and so these this skid that's just a stabilizer there is helping it. It kind of wanders back and forth, which is what all them little squiggles are down there. I sped it up a little bit to finish, which is why it changed, but yeah. While we're explaining how stuff works, we should probably talk about how the Traveler works and reeling stuff in. basically our motor turns, and there's a variable speed shiv in there, and I can adjust this handle and it pushes that pulley, it changes the gap, which changes the circumference of it, and changes that one to change the speed, variable speed, right? And it spins this gearbox, which reduces the speed down, and there's a chain in there that spins, and that chain goes all the way around the drum, and is what spins it, and it reels it in. This is a brake, and then there's a chain that drives off this side. It just shut off, so there's why the water's coming out, but there's a chain here that comes down, and it drives that gearbox. That gearbox then has another chain that runs along there, which moves that indexer where the hose goes through, so that it keeps it in the right spot on the reel, and that it wraps up nice and neat and everything. So this thing here slides back and forth depending on where it's supposed to be on them rails and with that chain. And then because the circumference of that drum gets bigger every layer that's on there, and there's 4 layers, it's got this piece here that rides on that hose, and it goes in, so it pushes on this rod. This rod is hooked up to this cable, and this cable is hooked up to this cam on our variable speed shift, so that as that arm comes out, it pushes that cable in and it slows that speed down, so that it starts turning slower to keep the speed of the gun, the hose travel, the same, so that it doesn't speed up and slow down. Otherwise, it would retrieve itself faster when it's on the base layer than it would, or no, when it's on the outside layer than it would on the base layer. It would run, yeah. So in order to keep the same consistent rate, it's got to have that speed adjustment. It's pretty clever, really, and for the most part, it's been trouble-free. We've had a little bit of issues with that speed control stuff, but everything's working really good now, so I don't know, it's pretty awesome. There are safety shutdowns. If we get a 5th wrap on here or something and this bar pushes back too far, kind of a miswrap, there's a safety trigger here that will kill that motor so that it doesn't keep reeling itself in. If we lose pressure like we did now, this Murphy switch will shut it down, although I tripped it so that it would keep moving. And when it gets all the way in, there's a little fin on that gun cart that pushes in on this, which will also shut it down so it knows when it's done. All right, let's try to do the old not get stuck routine here. I think I've got tracks pretty well established, although we're skidding. Push all the water out if nothing else. Oh yeah, we're gonna make it. So it's gonna rain tonight and tomorrow. We're gonna get another 4 inches, and I'm gonna park this in the bottom of the wet hole here. That water there is still from the flood, by the way. Up here where the tractor and the 4-wheeler are at, and then it's gonna be underwater when we come back tomorrow. Maybe. Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. I can't understand why that hole still has water in it from that big rain that we had, but I was able to plant all the way through it before that rain, and it was dry then, but we haven't had hardly any rain for 2 or 3 weeks, and now it still has water in it. I don't get it. Sometimes this is just a little tricky to get lined up, because you want to be close enough to the pipe that when we spin it, those stabilizer legs reach over it, but not so close that you run it over. We're gonna try that, I think. Okay, this one's gonna work, and I'm ready to pull. This is gonna be a longer run than the last one, but still not a full pull. We run into the back of this house lot and them trees there. 860 feet. We got her running. I gotta figure out how long that one's gonna take. Longer than I thought there. All right, I decided to speed this one up. We're gonna run her at 30 inches a minute instead of 24. Put about 8/10 of an inch of rain on instead of an inch, because that gets it done at about 11:15 tonight. So it won't take me, I won't have to wait around as long. It was gonna be 12:30 I think before. Holy cow, good thing I did not leave early. That just shut off. I don't know why that just shut off. It started right back up, but it's trouble-free as the mechanical stuff on this is. The problem is usually operator error. Now that wasn't operator error, but when there's a problem, it's usually because I made a mistake, like the timer, which is relatively no big deal. But once or twice it's happened where I forgot to start that engine up and start it reeling in. So it sat in one spot for 6 or 8 hours in watered one spot. Yeah, that's too much water in one spot, let me tell you. What else have I done wrong? Occasionally, which is rare, but it has happened once or twice where I'll start to pull and forget to unhook them chains. You figure it out real fast. Yeah, those are the big ones. The worst one is forgetting to start that engine up, because then it just sits in one spot and waters. You know, speed stuff calculations, if I do that wrong, it's still putting the water on, it's still moving. Something maybe a little heavy, maybe a little light, but that's not really a big deal either. Anyway, as I was saying, it's going to be done sometime around 11:15 instead of 12:30 if I would leave it at the slower speed. So yeah, we'll be back up here late tonight. Might be a good time for that live stream. We'll see how it's going and what time I get up here. But I'm gonna go hook up to my fuel trailer and head back to the farm, and then I'm going home. Okay, I'm gonna go home and work on my landscape pavers a little bit, and we'll go back up and move that Traveler tonight. That's assuming it's not raining. There's still a pretty good chance of rain this evening and tonight and tomorrow, although there's nothing real imminent on the radar, so we'll see. We're gonna pump water until it, well, I shouldn't say that. I want to pump water until it rains. If I look at the radar tonight and it looks like there's a really good chance we're gonna get something throughout the night, I'm not gonna start it back up tonight. We'll wait and see, and if in the morning we need to start it back up, we will. But we gotta be up there to shut the generator off if nothing else, so we'll go and do that. I may do a live stream if I get up there early enough to be able to do that and have time. But that'll have already happened by the time you're seeing this, so yeah. But I will wrap the video up after that. I'll at least show you guys what's going on up there tonight, and we'll see if my lights work. Making a little progress here. It's amazing how much I can get done with help my kids around here. I think I earned myself a break. Cheers. Also, big shout out to my wife for picking the most complex, hard to follow pattern that they had at the store. I'm figuring it out after a while, but I'm gonna have to cut some blocks to make it work. Well, I just got back up to the field here where the irrigation was running. That little Honda motor died again not long after we left. So it's been sitting in one spot for 6 hours. Remember how I told you earlier that most of the mistakes are operator error? Well, this one was not. I don't know why that's not running, but I turned it way up, or I sped it up, gave it more throttle, and I turned the speed up. We're gonna reel her in pretty fast here, but we're gonna have a wet spot. We're gonna have a real wet spot. What are you gonna do? Anyway, I'm gonna hang out here for a while because I'm getting ready to start a live stream. So yeah, that'll be a fun one. Okay, I just finished up my live stream. Our pump is shut off. The Traveler is not quite all the way in yet, but it's getting close. Got a couple 100 feet. We're just gonna let it reel itself in and be done. It is raining. I've got to get out of this field now. Otherwise it's gonna get muddy and we ain't gonna make it. So we'll wrap her up on the road. Getting a little sticky. We're gonna make it though. Windy too. Oh, that wind came out of nowhere. I already, during my live stream there, if you were watching that, you saw I shut the generator off when the pump shut off a few minutes ago, and then came back and started the Traveler up to let it finish reeling itself in. We're going to leave everything set there for tonight, see how much rain we get, and we'll come back and worry about it later. But this rain is a good thing. We needed it. out to the road. Okay, that is going to be it for tonight. I definitely, hold on, there we go. I definitely am happy to get some rain here and glad things are going to slow down a little bit. I'm not going to be working tomorrow, although I may try and get the combine home. If so, I'll film a little bit of that, but it won't be in a video tomorrow. It'll come out Tuesday with what I do on Monday. So have a good night, everybody. Questions and comments, leave them down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button for me, please. Let's get to 10,000. And that live stream was fun. I'm going to do more of those, I think, if we get back to irrigating, but hopefully that will be a while. See ya. Holy rain.